Hi everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the Reef Life with myself, Dutch Reefer. So in today's video I want to give you a quick update on the tank and how it has been running over the past few weeks, some of the things that have changed and some updates on the corals. So first of all, I have been thinking about getting 2 filters for the Radions, because as you can see the lights are pretty bright and they are coming, or the light appears below the pendant, and before, when I still used the reef LEDs, the LEDs are a bit deeper into the light itself, so the light wouldn't shine outward as much. But with these Radions, the LEDs are closer to the surface of the LED unit, so the light shines out a bit more than I hoped. But I read good things about the aftermarket filters that you can get from Ecotech, that they will also even out the light just a little bit more. So yeah, I'll probably add 2 of those in the next few weeks. Also, I've placed the lights a little bit more outwards, so to this side of the tank and to the other side as well, to create a little bit more even spread across the tank, and also giving the corals that would otherwise be in the shade a bit some more light, which of course creates an overall better visual look of the tank itself. Well, combined with the I did a rinse of the sand last night, so as you can see, overall the sand looks quite clean, not as clean as it could be, for example right there, but all in all pretty clean and as white as I would like it to be, so it's perfectly fine. One of the corals that shines just that little bit better is, for example, this toadstool coral right here, mushroom, toadstool, soft coral, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, I think that looks particularly nice under these LEDs. Funny story actually, because this coral has been with me for a very long time. I'd say since the beginning of my my reefing career, about 10 years ago. Time flies. This is one of those corals that I once I broke down a bit of my tank, and I saw, or at least I thought, that my my soft coral had died. Back then I didn't know that these would shed their skin now and again, so I tore off whatever was left of this coral, discarded it, only to find out that there was just a little bit of tissue left on the rock, which eventually grew back to being a humongous coral, about 20 centimeters in diameter. Then I made a couple of frags from that, sold the big one, kept one of the frags, and actually this grew back from one of those frags. So it's really amazing to see and to experience what how resilient corals can be, and how easy it is for some corals to well, just create more of them and see them grow over the years. And I never thought actually that I'd see it in full glory again, like it is now. I think it's called a weeping willow. I mentioned that I think in one of the previous videos, and it's just so beautiful. Especially I think in 4K. I hope you can enjoy this image nearly as good that I can in real life, because it looks amazing. And yeah, actually, if you look closely, right here is already a little frag. Not sure how it got there, but it's there. It's just in the shade and it's a little bit smaller, but it's the same coral. So in the end, that's the story of the weeping willow and how it has been in my tank for over, well, at least over 8 years. I'd say nearly 10 years. Then the Sespitularia, a coral which grows immensely fast. I think I've also spoken about that recently, maybe even my previous video, that it's I'm not sure what to do with it since it's growing really fast. It's trying to get a hold of the glass, of the ground, of the sand, of the wall. It's just, I wouldn't call it a plague, but if you had to call a coral a plague, I think this gets close. So I just think I need to frag it and put some rubber bands on it. Make some frags for people to buy or to get. Actually, I don't think I'd want any money for it since it's basically spreading across the entire tank. So I'll frag it soon, and I'll let you know once I fragged it and got rid of some. Other than that, this rock nem, the details on this one, it's just stunning. I never expected it to become this big, this huge. It was quite small when I got it from a friend. I think it was like 3 or 4 centimeters in diameter, and it has it's really found its place here, I'd say. And getting a hold of every piece of mysis or krill that I add. Sometimes I feed it like a bit of a lancefish or a bit of mussel, but it's at the exact spot where it needs to be to catch that food and to just thrive. So I think it's attached to the bottom of the tank. I found out when I added it that it attached itself to the bottom, so it's through the sand to the bottom. But yeah, that's just amazing to see how such a small rock nem can grow out to be such a huge disc and be so hungry, because it literally, when you add a bit of food, it just devours it within a minute, which is kind of fun to see. Maybe I'll show you in one of the next videos how it expands. I'd expected more from this power bunkie, to be fair. It's above that. Maybe it's not in exactly the right place, I'm not sure. It looks nice. I mean, it's nice and red with a bit of blue, but I kind of expected it to be a little bit more fleshy or meaty. I don't know how you want to say that, but it's a nice coral, but it's a bit conservative, which is okay, I guess. I mean, not every coral has to grow like this Euphyllia, for example, the home of the clownfish. It's healing up quite nicely. As you can see right here, there was an injury which I induced when I tried to add these 3 bit of rocks to the PVC pipe. I scratched it and it got damaged, but it's slowly healing up, which is nice to see. It's good to see corals recovering in general. Of course, they don't all recover. Some perish, which is then again less nice to see. But if corals come back from near death, then it's always cool. Like this blastomussa. I mean, look at it. It looks gorgeous. Let's get back to normal zoom. Yep, we're there. I do hope that this chalice, once gets back to its previous form. It got damaged in my previous tank. As you can see right here, the edge is missing, or at the edge a whole piece is missing. But it's slowly recovering, and as long as the edges stay smooth and silky and complete, then I have trust and faith that it will restore itself. Once it gets very bony and you can see the skeleton through the flesh of the coral, then I'd start to worry. But luckily that's not the case. And this, I think it's called a bubblegum chalice, if I'm not mistaken. looks quite nice. Glad to have it as a centerpiece in this tank, above all the beautiful zoanthus which are right here. It's a shame because this small bit of soft coral was actually showing polyps earlier today, which I wanted to show you, but yeah, it's decided that it would hide its polyps now. So yeah, maybe next time. All in all, yeah, the tank is doing well. The Recordea, of course, don't need to mention those again. They're still beautiful. Maybe one last thing, the on corals, I mean, the Duncans, they're generally a very nice coral to keep. They take a bit of space in your tank, and somehow this one has developed a bubble. Now I know that some people add value to things that are bubbling. Not sure that goes for Duncan coral as well, but somehow the bubble is there. It's real, and it's here to stay. It's been there for weeks. Not sure how those bubbles are developing. I haven't seen one before on a Duncan coral. I've seen them on Recordea a lot, on Discosoma as well. There are some very famous toxic green Discosoma out there, which I hope to get one day. But this kind of bubble on a Duncan, it's not something I've seen before. But anyway, yeah, the tank has been doing pretty well since I've upped the calcium dosage again. Overall, corals are looking happier. Of course, the ones that perished don't. I still kept it in there. Well, just because there's still a little bit of tissue left. I'm not very hopeful, but as you can see here at the base, there is a bit of tissue left, so maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. This one has completely gone since yesterday, I think, so I think I'll remove that, sadly. But yeah, that's life. I mean, sometimes things go well, sometimes they won't. Overall, I think the tank is developing nicely. One last thing, did some cleaning in the sump. The roller mat is cleaned up. There was a bit of goo inside. The floor of the sump is clean again. The skimmer is clean again. As you can see, it's bubbling away quite nicely. So everything clean in this department, which is very important, by the way. So if you have a sump, try to keep it nice and tidy. I know it's not the nicest part of having a reef tank, but definitely important to cover the basics. It's the only way to keep a healthy and stable reef. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to make a new one next week, of course. And for now, have a good week ahead of you. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you in the next one. And last of all, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video, or don't. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.